vinyl community. Dave the Pickup Artist with you for another day of psychedelic shenanigans. First, I want to thank you all for helping me get to 500 subs. It's been a tough slog, but we did it, and thank you. I have you to thank for that. And I promised myself I wouldn't get choked up, so let's get on with the records. The first record I got is very crazy. We've got the CA Quintet with Trip Through Hell. Give you a close-up of that hype sticker. Despite the name of the band, these guys were actually from Minnesota area. Now, they started out as a R&B combo band, but late 60s they went psychedelic and put out a single album. And there were only 500 of these albums pressed, so they're very rare. First press copy of this album will run you anywhere from $500 to
$1,300,000,000,300 million.
But yeah, it's a great album. It's we've got horns in it too. It's like half instrumental and half vocals, but yeah, this is a great album. I believe it's in the also in the 100 top 101. But yeah, these guys kind of just broke up after this, one-hit wonder, and this is obviously a Sunday's reissue. I don't know if Sunday still has these in stock, but it's also on a kind of an off urine colored vinyl. And yeah, it's a great listen. It's not a very long album, but it's very cool.
We got us some good ones.
The next band I have is Coliseum. Two guys from the Graham Bond band, John Heisman, the drummer, and Dick Hextall Smith, who plays sax. They left Graham Bond and formed this band, Coliseum. They got a great keyboard player. Dave Greenslade was a keyboard player, Tony Reeves on bass, and they had a session guitar player.
Have a good poo-poo.
So I believe this is their first album. Now, if you look on the Wikipedia on their discography, which is very confusing, the album, the title of this album is "Those Who Are About to Die Salute You." Only the UK and the US versions are almost completely different, have almost completely different track listings. But this is great jazz, fusion, psych, prog. Progadelic fusion, I would call it. And yeah, now this is, I think the cover is a little bit different for the UK cover also. And they put out a second album called Valentine Suite that I also have. This is a reissue. But this one, their supposedly second album, has a lot of the same tracks, most of the same tracks that are on the first album. So I don't know, go figure. I don't know how that happened or what this is all about. The first album I showed has a few tracks that aren't on this one, and this one has a few tracks that aren't on the first one. One of the tracks on here is a drum, kind of a experimental drum track from John Heisman. Both of the albums have the Valentine Suite on side 2, which is the kind of the highlight of the entire album. A Valentine Suite in 3 movements. These albums are great. It doesn't matter where you start with these guys. Any album from them is great. Now they went on to put out a live album, then they kind of broke up and they came back as Coliseum 2, a lineup which at one point featured blues guitar great Gary Moore. But yeah, Coliseum, great progadelic stuff. I have not heard that live album from those guys that I hear is really good. Next one I have is the Buffalo Springfield. Buffalo Springfield were under contract to put out 3 albums. Unfortunately, they broke up, but they were still under contract, so they put together this album of basically outtakes, tracks that didn't make it on the first 2 albums, and a few tracks that would end up on a Crosby, Stills, Nash album.
You know what you're thinking. Answer me slowly. I have questions of 1,000 dreams. What you do and what you see. Come on, brother, talk to me. Yeah.
Trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
Will you bring me happiness? Will you
Stephen Stills wrote the song Question when he was in Buffalo Springfield, and redid it as Carry On Deja Vu. If you don't have Deja Vu, I don't know where you've been. One of the greatest albums ever. I definitely like Carry On better than the embryonic version of it, but yeah, getting back to this, it's okay. It's not as good as the first. It's not essential. You definitely want the first two albums, but this is pretty cool though. I like the inner artwork. Just kind of Art Deco. That's very cool. But yeah, last time around. I don't know if there's any more rarities from Buffalo Springfield. That would be cool if they unearthed somehow. But very cool. The next one I have is Elephant's Memory. Good old Elephant's Memory. I love the cover. And an elephant. This band was, they were on a soundtrack to Midnight Cowboy. They had a few songs on that, and they caught the attention of John and Yoko, who selected this group as their backup band. I think when they did the Toronto thing. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. Elephant's Memory. This is all right. There's a few more than a few wanker tracks on here, but it's not bad at all. Elephant's Memory. And I like the inner cover too. Very cool. I don't know if they did another album after this or not. They weren't around very long, I don't think. And it's in the, it's on Buddha, on the Buddha label. And it came with the cool Buddha original inner sleeve. And I'm going to send away to be a Buddha Records member. You got a membership card, a dial-a-hit single, which is probably a rare these days, and a letter from Buddha. So yeah, Elephant's Memory on Buddha.
Let me out this goddamn birdcage!
Finally, I've got the CD of the week. I wanted to hear some Yardbirds, so I dug out this Yardbirds CD from 20 years ago. This is 2003, and at this point, we're down to the only original members were Jim McCarty and Paul Samuel Smith on bass. And what they've done is they've recruited a guitar player and a couple other members, but they have on this particular album a guest guitarist on just about every song. Cool artwork. You get a little bit of there's a booklet here that goes into more detail about how this album was created and the track listing. But what we got on here, we've got several cool entries. We've got Jeff Skunk Baxter on the Nazar Blue. They do a lot of remakes of the old Yardbird songs. We've got Joe Satriani on Train Kept A Rolling. Steve Vai plays on Shapes of Things. Jeff Beck makes a guest appearance on My Blind Life. I think that's the only track he plays on. Slash plays on Over, Under, Sideways, Down. That's pretty cool. Brian May plays on You're a Better Man Than I. And one of my favorite tracks, 10 Years Time Ago, Happenings 10 Years Time Ago. And this has got Steve Lukather on it from Toto. So, yeah, it's okay. But yeah, that's all I've got this week. I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you the next time.